Ahoy shipmates, Amy from Cruise Craze Fam, and welcome to my P&O Pacific Explorer review. So a bit of background on this ship first of all. The Pacific Explorer was originally owned by Princess, and she operated as the Dawn Princess from 1997 to 2017 before she was entered into dry dock on the 22nd of May 2017 and released to P&O Australia on the 22nd of June 2017. Since then, she has been the Pacific Explorer. She was originally launched in July of 1996. She holds 1,998 passengers and 924 crew. It's 266 metres long and has 10 passenger decks. So you might have heard of the Pacific Explorer being nicknamed Dora the Explorer. So funnily enough, she was actually christened back in 2017 by the Nickelodeon character Dora the Explorer. So today I want to talk about all the pros and cons to this ship. Now, she is now set to retire from P&O in March of 2025. So she's currently up for sale. Don't know whether she's going to get purchased. If she doesn't, she'll probably end up getting scrapped. There is still time to cruise her. We have 2 more cruises coming up on her. So we have a comedy cruise and we have a 80s theme cruise coming up. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons that we do and we don't like about this ship. So first I'm going to start with the pros. So the food. We actually found the standard of food to be really quite good on the Pacific Explorer. So in particular, I'm talking about the dining restaurants. So there are 3 included restaurants. There is the waterfront restaurant, which is kind of more your mainstream type food. There's the Dragon Lady, which is your Asian cuisine. And there is Angelo's, which is your Italian food. There's also the pantry, which is like the buffet, but they do serve it to you. But there's plenty of options there. You've got Indian, pasta, Asian, roast, all your salads and everything, all your standard foods. Obviously, the pantry is also open for breakfast as well. So there is upcharge. I can't speak too much on the upcharge restaurants because in our 2 cruises that we've done on the Pacific Explorer, we haven't actually done, well, we've done the ice cream, but other than that, we haven't done any of the upcharge stuff. So there is the P&O Trattoria, which is your pizza. There's the Luke's Bar and Grill. So they do a bar and grill where you can get your burgers, chips, hot dogs, that kind of stuff. And then there is Luke's dining experience in the waterfront restaurant. So that isn't kind of an elevated dining experience by Chef Luke Mannion. So I haven't eaten there yet, but it does look like a very nice area that they've got you seated in. I'm sure it's a lovely dinner, so I can't speak on that one. Then you have New Zealand ice cream. You've also got the room service, and you've got the cafe, which is where you can get your coffees and your cakes and all of that kind of stuff. Out of those, my favorite dining experience, I would have to say, was the Dragon Lady. The sweet chili spring rolls, you have to try those. They are to die for. I found this food was just so good. I ate way too much that night and, they just kept it coming. So definitely worth it. It's, that's free. That's included in your cost. And P&O is a budget cruise line, so it was incredible food for what it was. But we also ate at Angelo's and Waterfront, and I did like the Waterfront because I found there was a lot of healthy options in there for me. I also found that the crew who were working were extremely great with my allergies. They understood my allergies straight away, and they were able to tell me what on the menu I could and couldn't have. Not only that, it was also marked on the menu what was vegan, what was gluten-free, what was dairy-free. All of it was all marked, so it was really, really easy for me. The next thing I want to talk about is the entertainment. The standard of the dancers and the singers on this ship we found was incredible. We only had 1 show, and I saw the 1 show on both times I've been on the Pacific Explorer. It was the Rock of Ages, I believe, and it was an incredible rock show. The standard was really good. The singers were really good. The dancing was really, really good. I did find possibly it was a little bit risque to take my children to. So if you're a little bit more reserved, just keep that in mind. Let's just say my husband really enjoyed it, but the standard was really, really good. There is comedy shows, and the comedians we found were really good as well. We enjoyed those. The theme parties were fun. They get the rock band involved, and they do cover songs. Then you've got your DJ as well. So they're a lot of fun. We have done the Bianco White Night, the Bianco, and we've done the Gatsby night as well. The Gatsby was in the atrium. Did find it got a bit crammed. There was one guy who was dancing very aggressively with his elbows, and I was like stuck in the corner. But hey, he was having fun. But for someone to actually stop me from dancing, you know, it was a lot. Anyway, kids clubs. So they do have kids clubs on the ship, obviously. So you've got your Turtle Cove for the 2 to 5 years. You've got the Shark Shack for 6 to 9 years, HQ for 10 to 13, and HQ Plus for 14 to 17 years. There is also water slides, which are free for you to use. My son has gone on both of them. He did enjoy them, although it was the middle of winter, so it was a bit cold, but they're there. We haven't actually used a water park yet either because, like I said, the first one we did was in the middle of winter. And the other time we went, we didn't have the kids. So I haven't got footage or anything of the water park. I should have got that. It looks okay from what I've seen, but we will be able to try it out in November. So themed cruises. One thing people love about P&O is they do a lot of theme cruises. So you've got theme cruises like the comedy cruises, you've got 80s, you've got 90s, Elvis even, and country theme cruises. And a lot of people really enjoy going on those theme cruises because they're around like-minded stuff. They've got the theme that they enjoy. The next one we're doing is an 80s, and that is going to be so much fun. I've got all the costumes kind of ready already. So make sure you subscribe if you want to check our adventures on the 80s party. But we've also got in February next year a 90s party. So that is, when I was in my teens. So I'm really looking forward to that one too, to relive my teens again. And the last thing I want to talk about is affordability. So we find that P&O is probably your budget cruise line. It is very affordable. You're looking at about 120 per night, give or take a little bit, depending on what the cruise is, the popularity, the time of the year. Obviously, your New Year's cruise and your Christmas cruise are going to be a little bit more expensive. So it does depend on which one you do, but they are very affordable. So for someone like us, who's a family of four, the positive for the Pacific Explorer, she comes out of Melbourne, although next year when she leaves, we won't have our ship anymore. So we're going to have to fly, which adds 1,500 to $2,000 onto our trip. So we'll have to cut down the cruises a lot, but our next cruise only cost us $1,700 for all four of us for 3 days, and that's all your food and entertainment. Anything else that we want to pay for is an upcharge, but it's up to us whether we pay that or not. So it is very affordable. We even found the mixology class that we did was only $35. And for that $35, they taught us how to make the cocktails, and we got 4 cocktails included. Where can you get 4 cocktails for $35? On land or at sea, you just can't. So it was a really great price. So definitely affordability is a big pro for P&O. So if you're looking to cruise on a budget, definitely look at P&O. Okay, so let's talk about the cons now of Pacific Explorer. So the first thing I will say is the ship's condition. She is looking tired. She has a lot of little maintenance issues all over. There is loose handrails. The gym is old and worn. The equipment has had it. There's dumbbells missing. There's like when you look at the tables, you can, and even in the lift, I notice that when you look closely, you can see where they've put vinyl to decorate it, and it's kind of coming off a little bit. So she is just looking her age a little bit. Don't get me wrong, they've done a great job at fixing up this ship, and she is beautiful, but the maintenance there, and even things like the cabin, it's looking dated. The hair dryers are ancient. There's just she's looking her age in some parts. Definitely the cabins, you'll notice it probably more so than in the public areas because they've renovated the public areas so nicely. But I also noticed that the deck, the timber decking, was rotting away in parts. So she does need a lot of maintenance. And what I would compare her to is a Disney Wonder. So the Disney Wonder was launched in February 1998. So she's not even a year younger and she is immaculate. I'm talking, I had to walk around. I was specifically looking for rust because I couldn't find it anywhere. And I couldn't believe that I didn't come across a single maintenance issue on the Disney Wonder. Now, in saying that, you get what you pay for. So, Pacific Explorer, our 2-day cruise cost us $450. Our Disney Wonder 4-day cruise for the four of us, so there was more and it was a longer one. That one cost us about $7,000. So, when you look at the price difference, it's obvious. Obviously, Disney have a bit more money to put back into their ships because they're charging a premium. And but I noticed even when I was walking around, there was a guy painting. It was in like one of the industrial type areas. You can walk through, you can see all the chains and the ropes and the anchors and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't even know what it was, but it was this yellow and black stripe thing. And I saw the guy just hand painting it, and just the attention to detail was just insane. And it was just not there on the Pacific Explorer. She was looking very old and worn. Another con for me is the upcharges. I do find, because obviously they charge less for you to get on the ship, that there is a lot of upcharges. I'm not talking the drinks, because the drinks I found were quite reasonable. They were probably standard price. And when I say standard price, I say similar to the Carnival, which is cheaper than when you're on land. When you're on land, you're looking at $20 to $30 per cocktail. Like, it's ridiculous. On these ships, you're looking at about $16 to $22 for a cocktail. So I found that the drinks were quite reasonable and I was happy to pay those prices. That's something we choose to do. It's up to you whether you want to drink or not. So you don't need to pay those prices. You don't need to buy drinks at all. So it's up to you whether you spend that money. But what I am talking about, I'm talking about the games arcade. On our first cruise there, we let Ty spend about 15 minutes there each day. Before we knew it, he'd spent $150 in the games arcade. I don't even know how it happened, because we did put a limit on his card and the money just kept coming out. And what I think was happening is there was a button that you could press to continue. I think when he hit that, it charged another $2.50 every time. It ended up being $150, and I don't even know how in 3 days, 15 minutes a day, it got to that, but it did. So if you're letting your kids go in the games arcade, just know that it will add up very, very quickly, and keep a close eye on that. Another upcharge is the edge. So the edge is where you do your flying fox, you do your rock climbing, you do your walk the plank. There is the Titanic experience. The Titanic experience is where you go up to the front of the ship and you stand there, you do your little rose thing. They've got you all tied up and everything. So it is very safe, but it is all a part of the edge. And we did find the edge to be quite expensive. And there is the chance that if the weather is bad, it can get called off and then you won't even be able to do it. So we were thinking about doing it on our last cruise, but being a 2-day cruise, we only had one sea day. And we thought, well, what if it gets called off? And then it's just a waste of money because we're not going to really have time to use it. So we didn't get that. And the other upcharge that I am not overly happy with, but in learning more through finding out about Carnival taking over P&O, we've found out that their food budget per person was only $9 per day. I don't know how they operated on $9 a day. So it's kind of making a bit more sense to me now. But Carnival, you got free ice cream 24/7, well, pretty much, as long as it's like 8 till, I don't know, midnight or something. It's crazy hours. But you can get unlimited soft serve ice cream. And you've got pizza. Again, it's like 9 a.m. till 4 a.m. So you can have pizza whatever time you want. Burgers, guys, burgers. It's open all day. You get a burger and chips. It's great quality, and that's all included with Carnival as well. So you've got all those options, which on P&O you have to pay because obviously they're partnered with New Zealand ice cream. So you're paying a premium price for their ice cream there. It is good ice cream, don't get me wrong. But again, when you're constantly buying children ice cream, that adds up very quickly. Uh, Pizza, if you want a pizza on Pacific Explorer or any other P&O ship, you're looking at $12 and then $15 for burger and chips. So all those do add up when you've got 4 people on there. Another con on the Pacific Explorer is the cabin size. We did find the interior to be quite spacious, but there was only 2 of us in there. So the next cruise we are doing interior again, and it will be a quad, so we'll be able to compare. But when we went on the balcony for the 4 of us, it was bunks either side, and it was so squishy. It was so tight. Once you got the ladder there as well, it was very difficult to move through, and there was just a small space towards the end where the balcony is that we could move in, and we just found it was really, really tight. And if I can remember correctly, our suitcases didn't fit under the bed, which made it even more cramped. So I'd say on the Pacific Explorer in particular, not their newer ships, that the cabin size was a little bit of an issue, at least at the balcony level. We were completely happy with the interior cabin just for the 2 of us. All right, the last con that I want to talk about, or the last negative that I want to talk about for P&O, is their call center. So they are based in, I believe, the Philippines. And I do find that language is sometimes a bit of a barrier, and they are very robotic with their scripts and what they say. And sometimes they don't always understand what you're trying to say. So I can find them quite difficult to deal with at times. They will try. We'll give them that. They'll try. But sometimes I can, like when I'm explaining that I have a dairy allergy, they don't understand what dairy is because it's not actually in the drop boxes. It's got lactose. When you go in and you book online, there's a lactose free, but there's not a dairy allergy. You've got all sorts of weird allergies. You've got strawberry allergies. You've got like sesame allergies. There's no dairy allergy, which a dairy allergy is very common these days. So I wish that was a little drop box in there. They're switching to Carnival soon anyway, and Carnival, I haven't had any issues explaining that. But on the ship, they knew exactly what it meant. On the ship, it wasn't an issue at all. On the call center, so you do, if you want to make smaller payments, so say I want to just pay off $200 towards my cruise, I have to call to pay. Online, you can't make part payments. You can book scheduled easy pay payments, or you can pay the whole lot in full, but you can't pay it off. Whereas with Carnival, I get paid. I want to pay $200 towards cruise. I just go online, change the amount, $200, done. So that will be remedied when it's changed over to Carnival, and that won't be an issue anymore. But it's just one thing that I find quite difficult sometimes when I'm dealing with P&O. All right, so that's about it. So that wraps up my Pacific Explorer review. So overall, we do love this ship. She's old, we know that, and we expect that, so that's fine. So we can see past all of that. We had an absolutely incredible time when we were on there in February. So check out our vlogs. I'll link them here, and make sure you watch them. Make sure you like and subscribe. So our other Pacific Explorer cruises that we've also got Pacific Adventure before she changes over to Carnival Adventure. And then we've got Carnival Splendor coming up as well. So we've got lots of exciting cruises coming up. There will be more ship reviews as well. So please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.